Welcome back everyone. And today we are moving into Acts 2 and Act 3 of The Duchess of Malfi by John Webster. These acts are very crucial. They are very important as they mark the turning point where secrecy starts giving way to the exposure, where secrets starts to unravel, and where the duchess's tragic journey it deepens further. So let's explore scene by scene, focusing on Webster's language and the themes that gradually unfold. छोटा सा रिकैप करते हैं. एक्ट वन में डचेस ने सीक्रेटली एंटोनियो से शादी की. फर्डिनेंड और कार्डिनल उसको कंट्रोल करना चाहते हैं और बुसोला को स्पाई बनाया गया है. अब सस्पेंस ये है कि डचेस अपना प्रेगनेंसी को छुपा रही है और वो कब तक छुपा पाती है. और इसी बात से ट्रेजेडी के जो सीड्स हैं वो दे स्टार्ट टू टर्न इनटू small plants and they start to grow. Now, first coming on to the first scene of Act 2, this is the scene where Bosola begins to doubt the Duchess. He uses a very clever trick. He uses apricots to test her pregnancy. So, look at this observation. He and his brothers are like plum trees that grow crooked over standing pools. That is the complete quote. Here he criticizes the nobility, saying they look grand, but in reality, they are corrupt and they feed on parasites. So it is a social critique where Webster is making through Bosola and criticizing the aristocratic class, the cardinal and his brother Ferdinand. And then Bosola is also making another crude remark. He says, the young springle cutting a caper in her belly. See how he reduces the Duchess's dignity. In what lowly terms is he talking about her pregnancy? The young caper, the child that is growing inside her belly, that is a young springle which is cutting a caper in her belly. सो उसके लिए वो एक रूलर या सिस्टर नहीं है, बस एक बॉडी है जिसमें सीक्रेट चल रहा है. दिस टेल्स अस अबाउट द थीम ऑफ सर्विलांस, दैट इज women's bodies become political property. They are constantly monitored and patriarchy यहाँ अपना रियल फेस दिखाता है. तो इस सीन में जो पर्टिकुलर फोकस पॉइंट है और जो मेटाफर है वो एप्रिकॉट्स का भी यूज किया गया है. एप्रिकॉट्स खिला के if he is trying to make himself sure कि if she takes interest in eating apricots, so according to the lore or the myth that was prevalent during that time, any female who is pregnant loves to eat apricots. So she hungrily eats them, and that confirms Bosola's suspicion that yes, she's pregnant. But the later remarks that he makes on her pregnancy shows how misogynistic Bosola is, and also he makes remarks on Duchess's brothers also, and the aristocracy and the class from where they come. So it is a kind of social critique as well, and also a misogynistic reflection of Bosola's attitude towards women. In the next scene, scene 2, Antonio accidentally drops the horoscope of the child. The child has been born now, and Antonio has made some horoscope and he has accidentally dropped it. So, this is one of the kind of misstep that Antonio took accidentally, or he was made to do so by the writer. So, such a small slip, but it became dangerous for the life of Duchess and for the life of everyone who were trying to protect the Duchess. So, Antonio says, the devil that rules in the air stands in your light. So, what does this show? This dialogue shows us how even he senses a dark force is around them, and that dark force is trying to destroy them, because Antonio very well knows that what is his place in the social strata and what is Duchess's place, and how far reached they are when it comes to the gaps that they have been dealing with in their lives, because one is from the poor background, the servitude, and the other one is aristocrat. So Bosola's sharp reply is that sometimes the devil doth preach, Now, what does that mean? It is a very revealing remark. He suggests that even religion or piety can hide corruption. That means if you are a religious person in the forefront, you appear to be religious, then that can hide your crimes, that can hide your corruption in with any lens. So imagine जिस सिस्टम को प्रोटेक्ट करना था वही करप्शन को का कवर बन जाता है. So this scene builds the theme of fate and surveillance. It is like no matter how much Duchess tries to hide destiny and patriarchy, everybody is always watching over her, be it the religion in the form of cardinal, and be it Ferdinand in the form of patriarchy, aristocracy. Duchess is always constantly under surveillance. Third scene becomes even more crucial because in this scene, Bosola finally finds the proof of the Duchess's pregnancy and her child. Antonio drops some papers, that horoscope, and Bosola is very quick to seize on them. He says, though lust do mask in never so strange disguise, she is often found witty, but is never wise. That means दिस लाइन इज ड्रिपिंग विद माइसोजेनी. इसमें माइसोजेनी बिल्कुल क्लियर दिखाई देती है. बेसिकली ही इज सेइंग दैट women may be clever in hiding their desires, but they are never truly wise in hiding them forever. Sooner or later, their wrong deeds, their lusts, they come to the forefront. So Bosola is always misogynistic towards Duchess, and that is also one of the reasons that he takes the side of the cardinal, in spite of the fact that he knows that Duchess is innocent and she is just trying to exercise her own freedom, but he has chosen to be with the bad side. Then his cold remark comes, I'll work upon this creature. Creature is creature, not Duchess, not ruler, just creature. So he is treating Duchess not as a human being, but as some creature who needs a treatment, who needs uh, to be dealt with. So patriarchy is dehumanizing women here. When women they cross the line, as per them, the line of disobedience, patriarchy is always there to check upon them. So Bosola's role here is crucial. He's the agent of surveillance, nazar rakhna, the spy who converts suspicion into evidence and confirms it. This is how patriarchy sustains itself, through informers, through watchers, through spies like Bosola. अब आ जाते हैं सीन 4 एंड 5 पर, एक्ट 2 में, जहां पर ब्रदर्स को इन्फॉर्म कर दिया जाता है अबाउट डचेसेस pregnancy and her ultimate delivery. Now Ferdinand and the cardinal are told of the duchess's child. Their reaction is revealing. Ferdinand explodes. Her shame, her dishonor, her ruin. Look at the words that Ferdinand uses for Duchess: shame, dishonor, ruin. All these words are used when you have to undermine the women, and all these words are misogynistic. That means a woman is associated with shame and dishonor, but a man is not. So he sees her motherhood not as joy, but as a scandal, as a shame, as a dishonor to the entire family. Though she is properly married, she has married in the eyes of the God, and it is her right to marry again. But then her marriage and her ultimate pregnancy and the child, they are all seen as dishonorable by the Ferdinand. Then the cardinal is calmer, but he is equally cruel. Shall our blood be thus attained? For him, it is all about bloodline, legitimacy, and aristocratic pride. So he is more concerned about his line of aristocracy, which he thinks that is diluted with the blood of somebody unknown. So notice, neither brother thinks about the Duchess as a human being. For them, she is only a symbol of family honor. This shows us how, in patriarchal societies, a woman's body is tied to her family's reputation. औरत की जिंदगी अपनी नहीं होती है, वो सिर्फ एक नाम और एक ब्लड लाइन के लिए जीती है. ये ओवरऑल इन सीन्स में जो है वो एक कंक्लूजन सॉर्ट ऑफ निकलता है ब्रदर्स के नैरेटिव से, उनके डायलॉग से, जो हमें बताता है कि हाउ पेट्रियार्कल the aristocracy was back then, and how they used to look down upon women who used to stand for themselves, seek agency, and speak for themselves. Now, coming on to Act 3, the first scene. Here we see a softer moment between Duchess and Antonio. For a little while, they try to live a private married life. They just try to act like any normal married couple. But the atmosphere of suspicion, it makes it very fragile for them to live a very easy, comfortable life as expected by any married couple. The Duchess says this goodly roof of yours is too low built. Matlab, such a beautiful metaphor. She feels her world is too small, too suffocating. She craves freedom in spite of being a duchess, in spite of being someone from aristocratic class, having all the facilities, all the money at her disposal. She feels that she's being crammed into a suffocating place. Antonio replies, ambition, madam, is a great man's madness. This is a warning when ordinary people like them aspire too high. It becomes very dangerous. So, this scene is tender, but also it foreshadows the impending doom. जो गलत होने वाला है, tragic होने वाला है, उसकी तरफ भी इशारा करता है, because the kind of negative vibes that these dialogues carry, they uh, they वो इशारा करते हैं कि something bad is going to happen with them. So look at these clues when you read the play. Their love is real, but society around them will never let it survive. So it's like happiness is temporary and tragedy is permanent. That is the kind of pressure that is built up while you read Webster, and you see that ultimately, and you feel that something wrong is definitely going to happen with them. But these dialogues, they carry a very deeper meaning when you read them in the light of certain themes like misogyny, ambition, love in secrecy, social constraints that any man or woman from any class or society feels. Now, scene 2 of Act 3. Now comes one of the most explosive scenes. Ferdinand confronts his sister. He comes back and confronts his sister. He spits venom. He speaks very harshly to her, and he says certain very harsh things to her. He says the witchcraft lies in her rank blood. So, rank is her post, her position, or maybe her class as a woman. And witchcraft, these are very harsh words back then, because witchcraft at that time was considered an act which led to somebody's death also, and they were punished by hanging or by killing them. So his words reveal both obsession and his very twisted desire, because we see incest when it comes to Ferdinand. Many critics say there are incestuous undertones here, which definitely we also feel that there are. It's as if he cannot tolerate her sexuality because it threatens his control, and he cannot tolerate the fact that she has taken the liberty for her sexuality on her own terms without him being aware of it. So the Duchess replies bravely, why should only I be cased up like a holy relic? Holy relic. Now she is symbolizing herself with a holy relic, which can be seen from far away but cannot be touched, because then the touch may pollute it. And now she is being, judged in that manner. She is asking, why should women be locked up like objects of worship? Why can't she live freely like all other men out there in the society? And then the most famous line of the play comes, I am Duchess of Malfi still. This line comes again and again. Many times questions do are asked in the exam based on this line. This is the essence of her resistance in the entire play. Even when stripped of safety, even when attacked by her brothers, she asserts her dignity and her identity. This line makes her a tragic heroine, one who resists even when she knows the cost will be her life in exchange. So, I am the Duchess of Malfi still. It shows her assertiveness, her control over her agency, and how she fights for her freedom. She never gives up till the end. And the major themes that we see in the scene are tyranny. Why tyranny in the form of Ferdinand, who calls her names and who calls her witchcraft, labels her with witchcraft. And we also see incestuous obsessions, because he talks about her sexuality in a very derogatory manner, which any brother is not supposed to do. But these all these dialogues, they show the presence of incest, theme of incest in the play. And then we also see female agency working its way up. The Duchess is trying to trying very hard to assert herself and her independence in such a tough time as well. Now there is another subplot that is going parallelly with the main plot, and that is an affair between Cardinal and Julia. Julia is Castruccio's wife, and she's having an extramarital affair with Cardinal. So here we see Cardinal is with Julia. This is important because it shows the corruption of the church. That Julia cries, "You have made me stark blind." Passion blinds her, both literally and emotionally. The Cardinal mocks her. "You are a witty, false one." So he is not respectful of Julia, and she is risking so much to be with Cardinal, and she is seeking love from Cardinal in spite of the fact that she's married, but she is not happy with her husband because he doesn't pay attention to her, as we have seen in if you read the play entirely. So but then Julia is even further disrespected by Cardinal. Cardinal is a cold-blooded, cold-hearted man. He uses people for his pleasure, that is whether they are physical or mental. So why is this important? Because Webster is exposing hypocrisy here. The same Cardinal who talks about honor and religion, when he talks about his sister, he is himself lustful and corrupt. So this shows the contradiction here. This shows the hypocrisy of the people belonging to religion. For students preparing for exams, remember, corruption is not only in politics here, it's in religion also, it is in family also, and it is in every structure of power that you can find. So that is why the subplot of Julia is important, because it exposes the hypocrisy of the cardinal. Now comes the last two scenes of Act 3, Scene 4 and Scene 5. This is the moment when the Duchess has to let Antonio go for his own safety, because she understands that Antonio is vulnerable and he is going to be attacked first, because they will sooner or later find out that it was Antonio all this while who was fathering these kids. So Antonio makes a brilliant comment here. He says a politician is the devil's quilted anvil. I love this metaphor. It suggests that politics is smooth on the outside, but inside it absorbs every blow of corruption. So the Duchess remains defiant here. She says, "Let old wives report I winked and chose a husband." Now she see how defiant she is here. Let old wives report. That means let the people say that I chose a husband. And she is asserting her sexuality here. She is asserting her independence here. She is claiming her agency. She is proud of her choice. She is refusing to regret her marriage even in danger. So she's more braver than what any man in this play could have ever been. So meanwhile, Bosola mutters, "I'll not be mocked." His bitterness shows us his double role. He pretends to be loyal, but actually feeds information to Ferdinand. So betrayal and isolation are tightening around the Duchess in this scene. She is becoming more and more alone with the time, but it doesn't make her weaker anymore, and she rather grows stronger in the face of adversity. इतने बुरे वक्त में भी वो strength अपनी generate करती है और एंटोनियो को वहां से भेजती है. She is the decision maker, which is expected that might be the duty of Antonio, if somebody may think. But the Duchess, when she says, "I am the Duchess of Malfi," still that justifies the quote here, that yes, she's acting like a duchess right now, and she's not the duchess only in name. So let's move to the conclusion of Act 2 and Act 3, and थोड़ा सा इसको overview देख लेते हैं. सो एक्ट्स 2 एंड 3 में सीक्रेसी खत्म होकर ओपन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट शुरू हो जाता है. एवरीबडी नोज एवरीथिंग नाउ, एंड डचेस अब एक ट्रेजिक हीरोइन बन जाती है जो रेजिस्ट करती है, अपना आइडेंटिटी एजर्ट करती है, पर सिस्टम उसको क्रश करता है. फर्डिनेंड और कार्डिनल के करप्शन और बोसोला के बिट्रेयल से ट्रेजेडी और गहरी हो जाती है, बिकॉज दे आर कॉन्स्टेंटली वर्किंग अगेंस्ट हर. सो नेक्स्ट एक्ट में हम ब्रुटैलिटी और क्लाइमेक्स देखने वाले हैं. यानी कि पिछले दो एक्ट्स जो हमने डिस्कस किए हैं, एक्ट 2 एंड 3, ये एक्ट्स में हमने देखा है कि कैसे सीक्रेट अनरिवील होता है, और अगले जो दो एक्ट्स बचे हैं, एक्ट्स 4 एंड 5, उसमें हम ब्रुटैलिटी और फाइनल क्लाइमेक्स को डिस्कस करेंगे. सो क्वेश्चन लेकिन ये है कि डिग्निटी क्या करप्ट वर्ल्ड में सर्वाइव कर सकती है? कैन यू सर्वाइव विद डिग्निटी इन अ करप्ट वर्ल्ड? like this in which the Duchess was surviving? So these are the questions, or this is the way any question may be asked to you, or you must think over it just to generate some thoughts of your own which can help you with the exam. And I will move on to the next acts, the final two acts, acts 4 and 5, in the next video. So wait for it, and I'll see you later. Till then, keep reading Duchess of Malfi and revise these two acts along with the very first one, and see you again in the next video. Thank you for watching here and being here with me. This is Dr. Shweta signing off.